Dolphins, so loved and respected, but tuna swim amongst them, so dolphins too are caught and killed. Years ago, these pictures prompted bans of this fishing method worldwide, but it still exists and was recently even certified sustainable with an eco-label, the MSC.
We all want the same thing. We want to see healthy, productive oceans, and we want to see seafood supplies safeguarded for this and future generations.
Jose Luis Rodriguez catches squid with weirs. It's sustainable and ethical. He doesn't want the eco-label.
Quite frankly, MSC certification is a fraud in my view, because it helps the industrial fishing fleets.
Sharks, protectors of the oceans. Millions of them killed for their fins, for shark fin soup. Soon to be another product with the MSC seal.
The MSC has gone to the dark side entirely. Entirely.
What can I eat if I want to conserve life in the oceans? Many people eager to make the right choice rely on the blue logo of the MSC, the Marine Stewardship Council, the most widely propagated eco-label in the world. Entire supermarket chains now stock exclusively MSC certified seafood products.
I don't know much about the company itself, but it's great that there's any level of sort of standards that people are trying to encourage about sustainability and about, because we want to be around here and have more for our children as well.
Do you buy MSC certified products preferably?
To be honest, yes, but I'm never sure if it makes any difference. You just have to believe. It's like with organic, it's a matter of faith. Somehow MSC has managed to convince me.
Why do you trust them? Who do you think is behind it?
Some kind of animal rights charity, or maybe a nature conservancy organization.
Yes, the WWF is involved.
Oh, well, that's not a bad sign. That does inspire trust.
But how trustworthy is the WWF and food industry-founded seal of sustainability, really? We set off on a worldwide journey to find out. The Dutch company Ecofish fishes for place in the North Sea. Since 2009 with MSC certification. Ecofish protects fish stocks. Always has, even without the MSC label. So why did they pay a whole lot of money for the blue seal?
We were in a very difficult situation because we heard a rumor that supermarkets wanted to retain the unsustainable fish from the shops. And this gave us the sign that we had to change.
So you were unsustainable?
Well, I won't say that. We are not unsustainable, but we were not certified. Certification is only to prove that you are sustainable. But it won't say if you are not certified that you are not sustainable. I have proven that we are working on the right way. And to prove this, we can use also the MSC. But if you see the MSC, you know, then the discussion stops.
An eco-label to pacify consumers? How good are the MSC standards really? Fish stocks must not be endangered. That's the first MSC standard. Here, it is upheld. North Sea play stocks are stable, but there's more to certification than that. The fishery is not supposed to use methods that damage the ocean ecosystem, but the Ecofish vessels also use drag nets like these. They are controversial. Dr. Reinhard Fröse from the Geomar Institute in Kiel, Germany. The marine biologist supported the MSC for years. But then he studied 130 certified fisheries and discovered 1/3 of the stocks were overfished, and many used methods that damaged the ecosystem.
Bottom trawl fishing has the worst impacts of all, because you really drag a heavy chain with metal otterboards very wide across the seafloor, and basically you destroy everything in its path. Bottom trawling is also stupid because it destroys the nursery areas of the young fish. Normally these plentiful ecosystems at the seafloor, they provide shelter for the young fish, they provide food for the young fish. That's where they go first. And by destroying them, you destroy the productivity of the stocks that you are aiming for. One would think that such massive destruction of the seabed would not be eligible for an Ecolabel. But unfortunately, that's wrong. So MSC has no problem certifying such bottom trawl fisheries, even if that fishing takes place in a nature reserve.
Are the Ecolabel standards too lax? And who's behind the MSC anyway? A prime address in London, seat of the MSC head office worldwide. Rupert Howes is the chief executive. MSC is the most widespread eco-label for fish worldwide. Global food giant Unilever and the WWF co-initiated the program in 1997 in response to a dramatic reduction in fish stocks. 12% of the global commercial catch now bears the MSC seal. That's thousands of certified fishing companies. Rupert Howes doesn't want the standards to be overly strict.
Is it about aiming for ever greater perfection for the top 10% of performing fisheries, or is it about engaging Asian trash fisheries, overfished fisheries, fisheries with no management whatsoever, to try and bring them up to a standard that means they might be able to sustain livelihoods, feed people, and be there into the future? I think there's a danger of expectations of perfection losing sight of the absolute challenge of shifting the entire global oceans onto a sustainable footing.
How's ambitious goal? To see the MSC label on every third fish product by 2030. This is what the MSC was promoting at Seafood Expo Global in Brussels, the world's largest seafood trade fair. The MSC calls itself an independent charity. However, the board of trustees of the MSC Foundation is dominated by representatives of the seafood industry. The MSC receives a licensing fee for every fish product sold that bears its logo. That adds up to almost 17 million euros a year, trending bullish. Ever more and ever bigger businesses want their products to bear the blue MSC seal, not least because buyers and consumers demand it. But is it even possible to catch such huge volumes of wild fish sustainably? At the trade fair, we met an MSC insider who has his doubts. His objection? The MSC board was increasingly more interested in quantity than quality. They were even certifying fisheries that openly violated their own standards. He suggested we take a closer look at the Mexican tuna fisheries. A dolphin hunt in the Pacific, off the coast of Mexico, with helicopters and speedboats. Amongst the dolphins swim the tuna that the fishermen are actually after. They form a feeding aggregation with the dolphins. When the dolphins are finally exhausted, a purse seine net is dropped and drawn closed. This type of fishing recently received MSC certification. The industry asserts, we let the dolphins go. But do they? We went to the States to meet up with Sam Labudi. He now does renaturation work at home in the Midwestern forests. 30 years ago, he was the first to document on video the slaughter of the dolphins with the same fishing method. His images led to a worldwide boycott of Mexican tuna.
Most Americans had never heard about this fishery. And even though it had been around for 30 years and had killed an estimated 8 to 10 million dolphins simply to deliver cheap tuna, primarily for American consumers, there were no pictures. None to speak of. And the only viable option for documenting this fishery and what was happening with dolphins was to go undercover on board a foreign vessel as a crew member.
Okay guys, make it good.
I was a really good cook, and so they loved me. The first time I brought the camera out, we'd made a set on dolphins. I mean, there were hundreds of dolphins trapped in the net, trying to fight up just to get that breath to keep them alive a little bit longer. My job was to untangle the dead dolphins out of the net that had been caught and crushed through the power block. We killed hundreds that day. Now they have MSC, and now we can reopen the international gates of commerce to tuna that is predicated on killing thousands of dolphins a year, and the only wild species on this planet that values human life.
An eco-certified dolphin slaughter. How can that be? At the Worldwide Tuna Conference in Vigo, Spain, we ran into Antonio Suarez of Mexico, where he's known as the King of Tuna. For him, Sam Labuti's film is history. That film about the dead dolphins.
Oh, that. They got a hold of some rust bucket from Panama and hung the dolphins in the nets themselves.
But the film did succeed in getting European and U.S. markets to boycott Mexican tuna, until the present. For Suarez, acquiring the MSC seal is the first step to making his tuna palatable again.
There were protests, justifiably, but in the meantime we've improved our methods. Now there are divers on board to set the dolphins free. One of my divers lost his life in the process, trying to save the life of a single dolphin. That's how we are. That's what we fight for. I will not go down in history as the great dolphin killer. We take great pains to help the trapped dolphins. That is proven by the MSC too, which doesn't just certify anybody who comes along. They assessed us for 3 years.
Are all the dolphins safe?
Yes, all of them. Almost all. Now they say we're stressing them. Well, I think the sharks stress them too, and the whales.